Hey guys, today we're going to do a bunch of omoplata. Omoplata is a shoulder lock using mainly your legs. And it's really great, especially if you're a smaller person taking on a larger opponent. Trying to move someone around that's much bigger than you can be quite difficult. So omoplata is great. And in my experience, I learned this as I was like a white belt or a blue belt. And at first, I kind of thought this move was kind of useless because I remember learning it and thinking it couldn't really be used as a submission as effectively as I thought. So I was like, well, why do I want to learn this? You can't even use it as a submission. But what I want you to try to think of is using the omoplata more as a position rather than just a submission attack. And I think you'll get a lot more out of it that way. So I'm going to show you a bunch of different entries into it, and then we'll look at some common counters and then how to deal with those. Okay, so let's take a look at the omoplata setup from closed guard. How am I going to get there from this position? I got to get his hands to the floor. I do that by bringing my hands inside and bringing my knees to my face and getting him to post. Now it's important that I use my hand on his elbow or his bicep here to create a frame. And I'm going to look to move my own body. Shrimping out, I'm bringing my left knee high and pinching it over Harley's back and shoulder. Pinching both knees together here. And now I look to rotate this foot over in front of his face. And I want to post up on my elbow here. Omoplata, you really have to move your own body. And now I'm sitting up. Now I'm actually in the omoplata position. Important details here is that I keep Harley's hand on the correct side of my body, tucked in against his own body here. Common problem is people will have the hand on this side for the omoplata, and this really changes everything because he can start to lift his shoulder and cause me problems here. So once you're in omoplata, you want to be like so. I keep my ankles crossed and I extend my legs here. That puts a lot more pressure on my partner. It tenses all the muscles in my legs here. So it's quite a bit different being from here to here. So here's where you want to be when you're just initiating the position. So let me show you again. We're in the closed guard. I've broken him down to the mat. I keep a frame on the bicep. My other hand, I just grip the tricep here. And the key element for the omoplata is keeping his elbow away from his body. So as I shrimp out, see how I keep his elbow far away from his own body? And now I feel my leg. My leg fills that space and I keep pressure down. So it's forcing him to the floor. And now I bring my leg over. Another common problem with omoplata is people will struggle to sit up from here. And you'll see them kind of do this one. Just worry about building up to your elbow. You have to kind of go from a strong base. So I post on my elbow, I'm moving my chest back, and this leg comes over in front of the face. Omoplata shouldn't require a lot of flexibility. Flexibility helps with the position, but it shouldn't be necessary to get it. One last time. Our first entry from closed guard. Get his hands to the floor. Now I'm controlling the inside, shrimping out. My right foot goes on his hip, and I'm pinching here, forcing him down, breaking his posture, leg in front of the face, posting up on my elbow, and then right away looking to grab his lower back or that far lapel, because this is going to come into play when we look at some common counters. So just locking him up here. When I want to get the submission, now I'm going to look to move out to my right slightly, grab the material of the gi, and now look to break him down here. When I break him down, he's flat on the mat. His hips are no longer in the air. And I keep my chest very low over his own back, moving over this way to apply the pressure. I don't want my chest up here. Another common problem is you'll see guys go for the omoplata here. That's not it. You want to be low here. That's going to take away a lot of his flexibility. That'll lock up the submission. This is probably one of my favorite omoplata entries. And it's just using the collar sleeve. What's the collar sleeve? Just when you have a sleeve grip and a cross collar grip. I go 4 fingers in, grabbing fairly deep in the collar. And now I'm gonna unlock my guard, looking to post a foot on his hip, and I move my butt back far enough so I can get my foot on his shoulder here. Why do I want to do that? So I can just push his shoulder slightly behind his other shoulder. And remember, the key element for the omoplata is getting the elbow away from the body. If he's pulling in his elbow tight, I can kind of use my feet to kind of pedal and push. And now I got the elbow away from the body, and now I'm going to shoot my right foot over the shoulder, chopping down. And now I'm looking to post on my left elbow and get into the omoplata position. Our grips are important here. It's fairly easy to get the sleeve grip. Most of the time when you're in closed guard, he's gonna be looking to grip you. It's not gonna be too difficult to get this. I just do a little sit up and get nice and deep here. And now I unlock my feet, foot on the floor just for a second. First foot goes on the hip. If I can't get my foot on the shoulder right away, I'll just use my knee. And then I'll adjust. See how I'm able to move my hips? This is key. I move my hips back so I can post the foot on the shoulder. And now I just pull the hand to get the elbow slightly away. And now this is what I'm looking for. Just to get my knee behind the shoulder, and now my leg rotates and I'm chopping down to the floor. Here, posting up on my elbow, getting up with my arm in the air to block defenses that we'll look at shortly. And then remember, I get to this position, I stretch my legs out, and I take a grip over his lower back to prevent any defensive rolls, posturing. He can throw a lot of different things at you. So here's where you want to kind of hang out in Omaplata. One last time. Another element to this too that you're gonna need to know is what to do when he stands up. So sometimes, as soon as I unlock, good guard passers are gonna start to stand on you. Here, no problem. Once we're in this situation, I'm gonna look for the same thing. I'm gonna look to get the elbow away from the body. And I'm really using my legs. Here, jiu-jitsu, you have to learn to use your arms and legs at the same time. I'm gonna push with my foot and pull with my arm. See how that creates a lot of open space? Now I'm gonna look to keep this grip and then throw my right leg over here. Right away, I'm threatening him with the omoplata. Here, sometimes the guy might not fall down right away, so we take the grip on the pants and I'm keeping this grip. This is really important, this collar grip. Because if Harley tries to posture up here, it's gonna be really difficult for him to lift me. All of my weight is hanging on his shoulder. Even if it's a much bigger, stronger guy, even if he was able to pick me up, he's gonna get tired really fast because I'm just hanging off of him. So when I wanna knock him down, I can unlock my feet, post a foot on the floor, and I'm gonna shrimp out this way. Even if he's resisting and trying to stand, that should knock him down fairly easy. And I pendulum my leg and rock up. So now we're back in omoplata. So I'm collar sleeve, I'm setting things up, but my partner stands up on me. Here, we don't panic. We just keep our grips, pull the elbow away from the body, and now we shoot the leg over, chopping down. Here, if he stays standing, we take the grip on the pant leg and keep our grip on the collar. If I were to lose that grip on the collar, he can just lift his head and posture up. Now I've lost everything, right? We'll see that happen a lot. So I keep this collar grip. This is gonna be your lifeline here. Keep the grip on the pants here. Now this is another situation where I could just hang out. He can waste a lot more energy than I'm going to just from this position here. And now I can look to move my hips away, put them on the floor. Another thing, if Harley's still standing up, and I know some of you guys like the greasy techniques, is I can go for a submission actually right from here, where I can keep my legs triangled, and I'm actually gonna take my left foot and hook it under Harley's far leg here. Now, when I go to stretch my legs out, this can create some nasty torque on the shoulder. So if you like omoplata, but you find people are standing on you a lot, this is gonna be one that you want to threaten on your partner. And I just create that by bringing my foot down and in. See how I'm turning my hip a little bit? And now I tuck it under. And now I'm driving down with my right knee and just stretching my legs out. But it puts a lot of torque on the shoulder. Here, collar sleeve, my partner goes to stand. I keep my same grips. I pull the elbow away from the body and I'm lifting my hips up as I throw that on. Get the grip on the pants. I can either look to hunt the submission right away or look to put my partner on the floor and focus on the control. Sitting up, wrapping the lower back. Now we're gonna work from here. Okay, let's take a look at another omoplata setup. This time you can go for the omoplata chained off an arm lock attack. So when I want to attack the arm lock, I'm looking to pull his arm across my body, post a foot on the hip, try to break his posture, the collar tie, and now I start to set up the arm lock. A common counter from here is the guy will rip the arm free. So now I don't have an arm to arm lock anymore, but he left this arm behind. And I'm gonna look to bring my leg over for omoplata, at the same time forcing his hand to that correct side, close to his body. And now we look to sit up I'm always sitting up with my arm in the air in case he were to try to hop over to the other side or do some type of other defense. Getting to here, stretching my legs out so it's putting pressure onto the shoulder here. I also will often take that lapel out, take a grip, and now this creates like a strap across his back. Even if I'm not doing anything, this is gonna be really annoying if I start to pull on this. Now I can move my hips, look to flatten my partner out, and now I'm actually applying this solution. I'm here, I'm setting up my attack with the arm lock. Here, even if I'm not all the way through into it, he can rip this arm out from here. Now I'm focusing on this one. It was a bait. And now I control this, throwing this leg to the floor here. Make sure your foot touches the mat, and then start to sit up, build up your base. And now I can look to sit. If it's no gi, you just want to hold the lower back. But if you have the gi with your partner, look to take advantage. Always grip the gi when you have the opportunity. It's going to create more force. Now I can look to knock him down. My heels go to my butt, and I'm doing a slight crunch as I lean forward. So he's not going to be able to take this hand out in this position. And now I'm staying low, going up over the shoulder. Controlling the arm. Things are looking good for the arm lock, but he rips that arm free. I don't waste any time. I throw this leg towards the floor, sitting up, gripping the lower back. And now we're looking to play from here. Looking to attack and break our partner down. And now we're going to be able to get that submission. And it's kind of like a reverse knee on belly. Normally you'd be facing with your head towards your opponent, but I'm not in this scenario. What I'm gonna look to do is put my head and my hand on the floor for base, and I'm gonna step up on my right foot and put my shin across Harley's belly here like this. This is gonna make it difficult for him to break me down from the omoplata, and it gives me a really good wedge that I can push against. And now see how I'm starting to pull with my right arm? I'm looking to just leave my arm limp, and now I can take my arm out here. And then right away, I'm looking to post on his knees and try to look to control his head here. Trying to climb up the body. So again, he's got me locked in omoplata. I'm posting on my head here. I'm gonna step up with the inside leg here. This one, it's also important to mention that it's gonna work best when he's on his back here. If he's sitting up, we're gonna have to do a different escape. The knee on belly is no longer an option that's available from here. So if he was sitting up from here and I wanted to do this one, I would have to try to force him back here. I can just kind of try to move back into him like so. And now I can post, get that knee onto his stomach here. This is really gonna pin his back to the floor and make it really uncomfortable. And now I can start to pull. You may not get your arm out in one yank, but just be confident that as long as you limp arm and start to give it a couple short pulls, now I'm looking to pass those legs, control my partner's head, and then we're gonna look to attack from there. Let's take a look at how to counter when he tries to do this defense, where he tries to put the knee on the belly, like so. Now this is really uncomfortable for me. It's right in the middle of my belly button, and he's gonna be able to use this if I wait too long to start to extract this arm. So what do I have to do when he's got this knee on belly? I'm gonna use my hand that's on the outside, my right hand, post on his knee. I use my other hand to grab his foot or his pant leg, and now I'm gonna look to post my foot on the floor and shrimp away. So I'm gonna drop his knee back to the floor, like so. Now this relieves a lot of pressure, and then I'm gonna look to sit up and try to catch the lower back. That's why this position is so important, because if I'm still with my back on the floor, there's a lot more available defenses he can do. This being one of them, where he's gonna really put the knee in the belly and make things hard for me. So I post, frame, and now I shrimp. Moving my hips away here. With this particular move too, as many times as he does it, I'm gonna need to do the counter. If he does it 50 times, I have to do it 50 times. Like so, I post, I frame. If I'm not quick enough to sit up, he does it again, I just repeat the movements here. What I have to do to stop this chain is sit up and control his lower back here. I'm here. My partner puts the knee on belly. He's going for his escape. I post, shrimp, put his knee back on the floor. Immediately sit up. Otherwise, we're just gonna be caught like a cat chasing its tail, repeating the same thing over and over and over again. So it's important, once you hit the movement, you recognize that right away, now I have to sit up and And now I'm actually gonna be able to control my partner in a meaningful way. And now I can break him down and look to hit that same submission here. Another common counter with the omoplata is the guy will step over your head or sometimes almost perform a cartwheel. Well, they're gonna post their head on the floor, step over with the inside leg across the body, like so. And now I can get heavy with my chest over Harley's legs, and I'm gonna look to control his head, freeing my own arm, and now I'm into side control. So sometimes you'll see a situation happen where someone gets the omoplata, but then they end up in a much worse position than when they started off. And that's because they didn't sit up fast enough and they didn't control the legs. He needs to anticipate this step over. So he just does it by raising his hand in the air and looking to block my leg here. You're taking advantage of him being a little bit lazy with his own attack, and he just hasn't sat up yet. So now I'm gonna look to do a big step across the body, follow with my other leg here. And I have to look to take this arm out as quick as I can because there's counters where he can look to re-roll and go back into omoplata. So as soon as I'm looking to reach with this arm, I'm now looking to pull this arm free. Very important to take that arm out, and now I'm settling into side control. So really common omoplata counter here. Sometimes you'll see guys almost kind of dance away a little bit to create a little bit of space and then do a quick jump like so. I'm here because I don't want him to control my pants, so I'll do a little side step here. And then from here, I jump with this leg, landing over the body here. Now I can look to free this arm and look to control my partner's head from here. When the omoplata goes on, you're gonna see these escapes happen fairly quickly. Okay, so to counter his step over, even if I can't sit up quickly, and speed shouldn't be necessary for the omoplata, it's good if you have it. But once I get to this position, really quickly I can take a grip on Harley's pant leg if I'm worried about him doing that step over. If I don't have any grips, he can step this leg over across my body, and now he's got me in trouble. So what I look to do, if I'm worried about that counter, is I'll just grab the pant leg, like a pistol grip. It's illegal in jiu-jitsu to grab fingers inside here like this, but you can grab pistol grips here, or just kind of any handful of the material. So I'm just looking to grab a handful of the material and just kind of do a little stiff arm. So if he goes to try to jump over now, I'm not letting him bring that leg over to the other side here. Still just keeping my knees pinched together so I control this arm, and he's gonna get quite frustrated. He'll probably only try to do this a couple times. He's gonna realize this isn't gonna work. He's gonna need to do something else. So once I'm confident that I have a good grip on this pant leg, he attempts to do it. I stuff him, bring him back down. Now I'm gonna look to build up onto my elbow, lift my chest and my back up, and now I can release the pant grip and look to control the hip. The hip is gonna be what's most important with the omoplata, the hip or the lower back grip, and settling into this position here. With whatever entry that you decided to use, you just got in the omoplata. You worked hard to get here. You want to get the most out of it. So take the grip on his pant leg. Especially if you anticipate this hop over coming, it's gonna shut him down. You just bring this leg back over here. And now I can look to sit up. Once my back's off the floor, I release the pant grip. And now I'm looking to set up my submission from here. Breaking him down, bringing my chest low over the shoulder for the submission. Okay, another common counter for the omoplata defense is gonna be a somersault. We used to call it the little kid roll. So this will look like when your partner gets here, I'm gonna look to put my left shoulder on the floor, look in towards Harley's legs, and roll to my back here like this. I'm basically swinging my own body around the omoplata. I have to be very careful because once my back's on the floor, if Harley starts to extend my arm, he can catch me in an arm lock situation. So as soon as my back touches the floor, I look to bring my knees to the mat and pull my elbow out, looking to try to get around the knees and control the head here. Would be a best case scenario. Sometimes you have to give up a little to get something, right? So even though I'm putting myself in arm lock danger, I'm kind of taking a chance to get out of the omoplata and to try to get back on offense. So I'm making sure I'm in good base. I look towards him and I'm rolling over my left shoulder. back to the mat. Here's where I'm in the most danger because my back's on the mat. If he gets two hands on my wrist and starts to fall back, I'm gonna have to tap to the arm lock. So as soon as my back touches the floor, I have to be aware of that, and I'm turning my body. If I feel like I am in danger of the arm lock, I'm gonna look to push his knees and take my arm out. Once my elbow's out from between his legs, now I can look to come up on top and then get this side control pin happening. Another common omoplata defense, and especially if you're putting omoplata on against bigger guys, they're gonna look to just kind of stand up and rip out. This is kind of the strong guy defense. And it actually works really well. If I'm stuck in omoplata, one thing I can look to do, post onto my foot. I keep my other hand out for base. Now I'm gonna stand up on both feet here. And I'll kind of do a limp arm. I let my right arm go limp, and I'm looking to lift my chest and rip my arm out here. Even if Harley tries to hold on a little bit, hold on to my sleeve, it's gonna be difficult to rip my arm out from here when I'm on my knees. But once I get some height here, this kind of changes things because now he's more kind of hanging off of me. And now I'm looking to just slowly pump my arm out here. In this situation, I'd immediately look to control the knees, maybe knee on belly, or bring my weight down. But it can be a little bit trickier in the gi, no gi when things are slippery. This is probably my preferred omoplata escape, no gi. It's a little bit more difficult in the gi, and I'm gonna show you why this can be countered. But again, I'm able to stand here. Even if he has two hands on my arm or on my sleeve here, as long as I can get some movement happening, now my elbow is out from between his legs. Now there's no more omoplata. I can even use my other hand to assist and create a frame and take that in. So like I said, usually this is kind of seen as like a strong guy or a big guy defense, and it is, but it works good for everyone. As long as you're able to stand posting up here like this. Now I have to look to lift my head because my posture is still broken here. So I'm looking to lift my head, I can frame, and now I'm starting to pump and get that leg out. Okay, so what should I be looking to do when my partner tries to stand up on me when I have him in the omoplata? This is a situation where the collar grip is really gonna save you. As my partner goes to stand up, it's good to have a grip with my right hand here somewheres, but unless I get this arm under control, he's gonna look to rip this free. So I grab with my left hand between my legs and I hold the collar like so. Just keeping my legs in a triangle. Now this creates an anchor with my entire body hanging off of Harley's shoulder and tricep. So if he goes to try to lift me in this situation, I can just kind of relax and hang out. Relaxing is a big thing in jiu-jitsu, trust me. So I wanna just be able to stay calm, take a couple deep breaths in this situation, and now I'm gonna look to unlock my feet, post a foot on the floor, and shrimp away. And now I rock, swing my left leg, start to sit up, and control my partner's hip. It's all about control with the omoplata. You're not looking to attack the submission right away necessarily. You want to start to wear them out, start to drain their energy. So again, I'm here, I feel like my partner's gonna look to stand up. Right away, I grab between my legs, hold that collar. Now with my right hand, I can just take a grip on the pants. And now I unlock my feet. Again, you should feel fairly stable in this position. If Harley tries to move around or lift me up, do anything, I'm just relaxing here and just kind of holding my grips. This doesn't cost me a lot of energy. And now when I want to put him back down on the floor, I post my foot and I start to shrimp away. Here, I can stiff arm his leg to create some extra force. And now, don't struggle to sit up here, use some momentum, swing your leg. So it makes it easy to pop up, control the hip. And now we're looking to attack the shoulder from here. So again, I'm here, grabbing between my legs as soon as I recognize that he's looking to stand. And I'm holding this. This is gonna be my lifeline here. And now I can shrimp away. Another dirty little trick is to go for the submission right from here. I can look to use my left foot, keeping my legs triangled, and hook under Harley's far leg. This creates a lot of pressure on his shoulder and his elbow as I extend my legs. You can submit your partner right from here. This is one that, even though I was doing a lot of omoplata when I was a lower belt, I wasn't even aware of this move. And you'll have to be careful with your partner because your partner might not be aware of it either. But it creates nasty torque on the shoulder. I bring my left foot down in an arcing motion and hook under that far leg. I can even look to post on my elbow and I'm just straightening my body out to get the submission. Alternatively, I could look for the control. Keeping this collar, as long as I have this collar, even from here, if he tries to lift, I'm gonna feel like a ton of bricks. And now, post my foot on the floor. Shrimp out, swing the leg, and start to get up, controlling the lower back, and then we look to break him down like we've done before. Another situation where you might see the omoplata come up, and this isn't a common one that people think of, is anytime your partner is attacking a single leg on you. So one situation where you might see this happen is half guard, where we can be like, so if my partner gets an underhook and starts to come up onto the dog fight, here, he's controlling my leg in a single leg situation. So I can actually get to the omoplata from here. First, I would need to free my leg from outside between his legs. But if we're here, like so, I'm gonna actually look to turn my body, grab between my legs, hold the elbow, and roll over my right shoulder into the omoplata. And now I can look to control the lower back. So this could happen from a number of situations. Say we're both on the knees and he shoots on me like so. His head's on the inside. Remember, the key for the omoplata is keeping his elbow away from his body. There's no omoplata when the guy's here. But if the guy's here, you have opportunity for omoplata. So when he's on the single leg, usually his elbows are slightly away from his body. So that's what I'm taking advantage of. See, his hands are locked around my leg. So normally I'd be sprawling in this situation. You can do that, but you can also look to just go right into the submission. Instead of sprawling and trying to rip his arms off, I'm gonna look to take this arm, reach between my own legs, and in one motion, look to roll through. Now, immediately in the omoplata. So I can look to take a grip, start to get up on that elbow, and now we're gonna look to break our partner down from here. So, say we're half guard again. This half guard is basically just a single leg situation where my partner can look to come up here, even if I'm doing things right defensively and I have my overhook, very quickly this can turn into a single leg. So once I recognize I'm in the single leg and I know his elbow's away from his body, in one shot, I'll go from this position, grab, just go for it. Even if you miss it, you'll just end up back in guard. Kind of a failed version of this, say, if we're on the knees and he shoots the single, even if I'm here, say I really mess things up, not the end of the world. I'm just in an open guard situation. And now I can look to get grips and enter into omoplata from there. So nothing lost, nothing gained. One last time, half guard. My partner looks to come up on the single leg. Normally I'm defending with the wizard. Here, maybe we stood up, maybe this is a real single leg battle. But eventually I'm gonna have to be confident to grab between the legs, hit that roll. And now we got our partner in the position that we're looking for. One thing that's important to understand with omoplatas is that any triangle setup is also an omoplata setup. A common triangle setup that you'll see is from closed guard, where I'll look to take an overhook, where I sit up, reach around Harley's arm, I can hold my own lapel, I can hold his lapel, and now I look to bring my own leg through and set up the triangle attack. Triangles are great, but sometimes it can be difficult to lock up the triangle. And one thing that you have to know is that every triangle setup can lead to an omoplata. Because look at the position of Harley's arm, especially when it's behind my leg, like so. That's the green light for me to bring this leg over and force the omoplata. Okay? You're gonna kind of need to feel it out in the situation. Sometimes it might be in your favor to go for the triangle instead and try to lock. But in my eyes, when I'm trying to play the probabilities and I notice this arm is tucked behind my leg, I'm gonna have a lot higher chance of getting the omoplata successfully than fighting for the triangle, where now he's gonna look to posture and get into his defenses. Now things aren't looking very good for me to get the triangle, but I can still force the omoplata if I force this hand back to the same side. Even in this position where I'm starting to lose the triangle, I can now hold the elbow, bring this leg in front of the shoulder, and I can save things by getting to the omoplata. So you don't want to get too tunnel vision on the triangle. Even if you're a triangle guy, you don't want to avoid the omoplata. You want to keep those working together. I'm here. I start to bring my leg through. I'm a triangle guy. I want this setup, but I realize he's got a good defense. I don't think I'm gonna get the triangle anymore. He's posturing away. Things are slipping away. Things are getting bad. If I just focus on the triangle, good chance he's gonna break out of this. So instead, I'm gonna cut my losses and I'm gonna try to just break his grip here. Even if he's got his hands together, I can start to bring my knees towards my face, fight to unlock his hands, and now I'm pushing my hips up and putting his arm on the correct side for the omoplata. And now I just hold his elbow or his tricep, and I can start to kind of roll that elbow towards me to put a little extra pressure. And now I bring my feet towards the floor, looking to sit up and control the lower back. I look to hit the overhook triangle setup. Here, I bring my leg through. I want the triangle. I notice the arm's on the wrong side for the triangle, so I immediately go into omoplata. Vice versa, omoplata can also be used as triangle setups if you're dealing with an opponent that likes to posture from here. As he lifts his head up, I can go back and threaten the triangle. So you want to keep these working together. Omoplata. Here, he lifts the head back to the triangle. I can bring the arm across, and now I can actually get into the proper triangle finish. It just kind of all depends on what he's doing. Another good combo triangle omoplata setup you'll see from half guard, and this is kind of like a hanging triangle where I'll get to my underhook, start to get up to the dog fight, where I put both knees on the floor, and now we're in a situation like so, where we kind of have the same thing on each other. This can kind of be a lot of pushing and pulling back and forth. But if I want to get into the triangle from here, I look to grab high onto my partner's shoulder. And now I'm going to do a big karate kick. Hiya! Up the back. I'm going to hang my leg over his upper back. I have this hand posted, and now I lift my right knee off the floor, and I just try to swing my foot through. So I land in a position like this. Now I look to grab the elbow, roll the tricep towards me. So it starts to break his posture slightly. Now I can bring this leg over in front of the face, and then I put both feet to the floor, starting to sit up. And now I control the lower back. We're in half guard. We got to our underhook. We were able to post up on our elbow and get into the dog fight. Here, there's several good moves that you can do from here. Sweeps where I can look to put my partner down, roll throughs. I'm sure you guys know a couple. But I can also look to get right into the submission. It's important that I have my grip nice and high. If my grip's low and I try to bring my leg up the back, my own arm is in the way, for one. And I feel totally out of balance if I try to hit the triangle from here. So I go high with that grip, high with my leg here. Now I can just post on this hand. I bring my knee to my own chest, and that lets me bring my foot over the shoulder. And now we're right into it. If for some reason his arm ended up on the other side in this transition, then I would go for the triangle. But a lot of times, even if that happens, he's gonna put it on the side anyways to save himself from the triangle. So then that is the green light to go for the omoplata, sitting up and attacking that shoulder. Remember, every triangle setup can lead to an omoplata and vice versa. So we're here, I get up, and I'm in the dog fight position. I hold the far shoulder and I bring my leg up the back here. You should feel quite stable. Keep this hand out wide enough that I can lift my bottom. Foot goes over and I go to my back here. Now I'm looking to control him, pinching my knees together. This leg comes over just for a second so I can keep both knees pinched together. That's gonna make my leg strong. And now I bring my feet to the floor. Sitting up, controlling the lower back.